Hello and welcome at Techvana, the NTech New Zealand Computer Museum. In this second session of our Raspberry video, I would like to show you how we load the operating system on our Raspberry. And in order to do that, we need to sit down first in front of another computer to download the operating system from the raspberry.org website. Before we start, we have first to go to the Raspberry Pi website. In order to do that, we just type in our browser www.raspberrypi.org www.raspberrypi.org. And this brings us to the main web presence of the Raspberry Pi. Here we go. And now we want to have a look for the downloads that we find here in the second section. And here have right the NOOBS Raspberry Pi download. We can either use the download torrent or the download zip, doesn't matter. We click on this and this should start the download. And we just click save and wait until it's downloaded. Now we have already downloaded the NOOBS zip file. We have unpacked it and put it on this SD card, or I should better say SD card adapter, because we put it in fact here on the micro SD card, which is meant to go into our Raspberry Pi. So the unpacked NOOBS operating system is on this SD card. That's all what we have to do. We slide it in here, push it gently in, and that's it. And now we have the operating system, or at least the installer files on that card. Next step is now to connect it all up. So here's our SD card. Our SD card is there. Now here's our HDMI port. We connect to the monitor, which will connect here. Furthermore, we need keyboard and mouse. We got, as discussed earlier, only one USB port. So we take a USB hub like this one, connect it up to the USB port and do it like that. Be always careful with electricity, so make sure that you don't touch overly the board. Keep it always nicely shielded on this board. And now we connect keyboard and mouse to this USB hub. Keyboard and the mouse connected now here. That's nicely done. And finally, we need the power supply, which goes via this micro USB port. We connect this here. So this is now connected as well. Please remember, connect first all peripherals before you power up the Raspberry Pi. So basically we are ready to go. We got the monitor, we got the power, we got our keyboard and mouse connected. So let's switch on the monitor. It should fire up now. And now we power up the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi hasn't got a power switch, so we just connect the power plug. We may use an additional switch in between, or you can even get USB cable with a switch. So let's power it up, see what we are getting. Here we go. This is a typical boot screen of the Raspberry Pi. Nice colors. And now it should start booting up. Typical for Linux system, and this is a Debian Linux system, a lot of status notifications so that you can, every little step in the boot process, every start of a process, follow up. See lots of OKs, infos. It's telling you which interface it is mounting, which daemons it's starting. And here we got the Raspberry Pi login. Usually the username is Pi, and then we press enter. The password is usually Raspberry. Here we changed it already, but Raspberry just in lowercase is fine. That brings you in, and off we go. And in the next session, we will see how we get around with the Debian Linux, how we get to a graphical user interface. For this session, it's enough that it's up and running, that we got everything nicely working, and we just shut it down. For shutting it down, we need an elevated credentials, so we use the typical Linux sudo command, and then the command is shut down, -H for halt, and we want to shut it down now. And this shuts down the system. And after it has successfully shut down, we can disconnect the power again, and everything should be fine. So we wait a system, now it's shut down, and we disconnect the power.